Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking another look here at Rose, help you understand a little bit more about what's going on and how much potentially lower it could go, or is it back on track, ready to get back where it was at from before. Okay, so we're going to look at that. Once again, thank you so much, Yvette, for requesting that I cover this, of course. She's currently a community member. And if you're not familiar, I have a community, a trading community where we all learn and grow together. So check that out, CryptoCache.tech. I essentially provide signals for every single trade that I take, so you can kind of follow along and structure your trades if you'd like, based on the way that I do it, with trailing stop losses and multiple profit targets. Furthermore, also, though, I do have a trading academy where you learn how to become a better trader start to finish. I have pretty much everything you need to know to get a good, strong foundation of becoming a better trader. Again, I want you to become more self-sufficient. That's the whole point of this. So take a look here at Rose. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the one-day chart first, of course, work our way down as per usual. So if you're not familiar with the channel, once again, I like to do that just to kind of help get perspective on things. Because if you don't know what's going on in one day, how are you going to understand, how to day trade it more effectively, right? How are you going to invest in a big picture if you don't know what that big picture looks like? So anyways, the one-day chart here is pretty straightforward. We're under both moving averages. You can see the 50 is working its way back down, and the 200 is kind of still working its way up. That's all well and good. Nothing wrong with that. Until we get back up over the 200, I won't have any sense of Rose being back on track just yet. But the main reason why we can see this having some trouble essentially as far as being under the moving averages, because we lost this ascending type of pattern, right? It continued to progress upwards, even in the face of danger. Like everything that's happened with Bitcoin, look at how well Rose has done. So Bitcoin's been selling off pretty much straight since the 4th of December. And Rose has been, it rose to fame, right? Upwards almost of 60 cents, and then has come crashing back down, for lack of better terms. And the main reason why, of course, is because it's the most profitable coin at the time, and they're going to take their profits. That's just the way that it works. So you gotta be careful when Bitcoin's on the decrease and some coins are going parabolic, because they have a tendency of selling off very hard, very fast once they hit a certain point, a critical mass, and it can essentially just kind of wreck you. So if you're not careful, again, have a tighter stop loss. Move your stop loss up, or have basically a trailing stop loss as the price continues to increase, so you can help get in better shape and mitigate that loss if it were to come down like this. Anyways, just some friendly advice for big picture, but generally speaking, we're down under really close to 30 on the RSI. We bounced off 30 here recently for the last two trading days, which is nice, of course. We have a potential MACD convergence as well. So it is almost inevitable for the price to come back up here in a sense from Rose. I don't think we're going to see much lower, just based on the simple fact that we have the price kind of, if you look previously here, you look at this range here, this amount of volume that we have higher here, that is going to work as a support level over here as well, okay? So the good news is I don't think we're going to see much lower, because the current low is a previous high, and that's a pretty strong support level, right? So in my personal opinion, we go ahead and move this up here. That looks more accurate there, and I think that'll probably hold a lot better. So I don't foresee us having a price action below 21 cents. Once again, we might see a candlewick down, but I'd venture to guess right now that this should be the lowest point for Rose to go. Once again, pending Bitcoin doesn't drop below 37,000. You haven't seen my Bitcoin videos lately, you may not know, but generally speaking, 37,000 is like a point of contention. If we get below that, or we close below that soon, we could have some problems. If we close above, just say 40/41,500 in the near future, we'll have much better luck, much better circumstances going into a bullish type of trend, or at least an uptrend for the time being, until we get it past the key level resistance about 46, 47. That being said, though, that is reflected here, where we can see this previous support level is working as a resistance right now for Rose. So Rose is probably going to channel somewhere between 21 and 24 cents as a close approximate in the immediate future. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour and kind of see what that looks like. And we're below both moving averages, but we are testing the 50-day SMA right now. So that could effectively work as a support level moving forward. That's great news. Looking at RSI, we're up over 50, under 70. That's exactly where we want to be for a coin like this at this time. So in other words, it tells us that we have potentially enough momentum, enough support at that RSI, which is essentially reflecting about 23 cents. And that should essentially hold. So if the price were to come back and start to reject, we shouldn't see much lower than 22.7, 23 cents until we see a leg up again. Again, pending no nonsense from Bitcoin, we're looking pretty good here. And to touch on that as well, TD sequential, I would venture to guess we're probably, we're right around a 6. We did get a reset here, which is nice. But what that basically just means, we have probably 3 to 4 more 4-hour candlesticks, so 12 to 16 hours worth of likely continuation of the upside. And if we can break this resistance here at 24 cents, it would be really extremely important, because you can tell that that's a previous resistance here as well. And obviously with it being a previous support level, it's working stronger as a resistance. But this is essentially the second time, or you could say the fifth time it's attempted to break that level on the 4-hour time frame. So the more often you try to test a resistance or break a resistance, the more likely it is to break, right? So Rose is looking very good right now. If we can get a close above 24/25 cents, we'll be looking very, very good, especially if we can get that close on the 1-day chart. That'd be extremely important. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at there for the 4-hour. Looking at the 1-hour, we can see we're kind of at this potential state of exhaustion where we're at a 9 already on TD sequential. What that basically just means is we should expect either a pullback or consolidation. So it could do one of two things. It'll consolidate here at the resistance of 24 cents, eventually break. It could also come down to consolidate closer to 23 cents and then come back up as a stronger leg up and break that resistance too. I think it's inevitable we're going to break this resistance based on its momentum and its trend. If you look at this here, of course, this is contrary to the 1-day time frame, but it does translate to that. We have higher highs and higher lows, right? So very, very good stuff here. So if this next low isn't lower than 23 cents, then we'd be in really, really good shape. So all in all, that's kind of what we're looking at there for Rose. Let's do one last look at the Ishimoku Cloud. It says we're free and clear. We can keep our position open. Even if we get a dip, it could likely bounce back up by that time to essentially get us that next leg up. So ultimately, all good stuff here from Rose on the short term. And that does, again, translate to the long term. So we got to understand that this continuation pattern is nice, but if we cannot break 24/25 cents, just kind of round number 25 cents, then we're going to, I wouldn't say have problems, but we need to break that level in order to have a good, strong continuation. It's just kind of the bottom line. We got to start making higher highs and higher lows, not just on the immediate 1-hour, but also on the longer 1-hour too, because you can see these lows are all lower, right? These highs are still technically lower. So we're still printing lower highs and lower lows on the 1-hour. If you look back, just say a week, right? If you look back only within the last 2 or 3 trading days, we're making higher highs and higher lows. So the last 2 trading days are telling of a good potential future. We just need to have that continuation happen. So what does that mean for us in the big picture? Well, big picture for Rose is that I personally feel we're not going to see a price point much lower than 22 cents. So adding to your position now would not be a bad call. You could likely 2x if the price were to come back up to its previous all-time high. Just note that it was overextended here recently, and it's consolidating now at the lower price point, and it's helpful. Let's take one last look at the volume profile and kind of see. We do have the most amount of volume above the current price point, but that's not terrible because we do have a decent amount of volume here, right at the, once again, that 20 to 21 cent range. Okay? So as we continue to build volume, we'll probably see the price continue upwards. I think we're more likely to go up than down at this point because it has, and I didn't look at this yet. We do believe we hit this pretty strong state of exhaustion, yeah. So if you look at this here, we came to kind of go in hindsight. If we look back, right? Let's go ahead and look back a little bit further. We've come up to a 9 and had 3 extra days of continuation, and then back down to a 7, and then a strong push up to another 7, and retrace back down to an 8. And so for the most part, Rose is averaging 7, 8s, and 9s on TD sequential when it continues its runs. Obviously, we see another 9 here, followed by a continuation to the downside, got a reset, and down back to a 9. So the likelihood of us seeing either a 7, 8, or 9 on the 1 day, I think is fairly high. So I do feel like Rose could effectively 2x within the next couple of months because we do have a good amount of volume foundation here at this point. We've got some good continuation patterns here, of course, and we just reached an exhaustive state on TD sequential. So even if Bitcoin were to just say suffer or go sideways, even test 37,000, I think Rose, yes, it could likely go sideways for a little bit longer, but it should have enough positivity, enough amplitude to continue to increase. So I would venture to guess that Rose is still going to be a great investment right now with the current price point. I do not feel it's going to come much lower based on the amount of volume that we have in the range of 19 to 20 cents. That's a very, very good sign. So all in all, I would just say Rose is a good investment. That's just kind of just the way it goes, especially with the overall sense of things. So just keep this in mind. Again, take this with a grain of salt. There's no guarantees, but I'm not telling you right now to take everything you've got and put into Rose. I'm telling you that you should probably consider Rose as more of a long-term investment because it should likely come back to where it was at previously. but we got to give it a little bit more time. I don't think we're going to see a parabolic run from it right now, just based on how hard it got hit recently. It takes a little bit longer to build a foundation and consolidate before it can leg up again. Because you look at this very first one, that was a very strong increase, and it had to go sideways for roughly, what is that, September? It took almost 3 months to get enough, to get enough foundation to leg up again. Now, granted, I did this a few more times, but with us being on the downtrend here, bouncing off this support level here, we could very well see a push up, then retrace, hang up again. We could even see some sideways action for some time and then up again. Okay, so I just want you to be prepared for that. This may not be an instant return, but there is a good chance that it'll probably be back in the 40 to 50 cent range within the next 2 or 3 months, pending no nonsense with Bitcoin. Right? And if there is nonsense from Bitcoin, which we have seen a lot of recently, I still think it'll make its way back up versus going down because I think it's at its bottom right now. All right, those are my 2 cents. Hopefully you found benefit here. Of course, thanks again, Yvette, for requesting I cover this. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. If you're not currently a community member, CryptoCache.tech is the website. Link in the description below. We'll see you soon. Looking forward to getting to know you better. Have a great rest of your day.